This is Ancient Lesson, Period 5, 4th of June, 2020. Staring Sean Allen. What's your Catholic name, sir?
John Paul first.
Sean, wait, I can't say it now. Staring Sean Allen, John Paul Thrifty the First. There we go. Thrifty is actually thrifty. Okay, this recording was started by Vivian Casa. Unfortunately, Vivian Casa the first, the only. I'm having too much fun. Okay, the do now is to make as many words out of Imperium. Imperium means authority. Okay, bye.
Well done. Fun more minutes.
Good.
'Can we double up on letters?
Pardon?
Can we double up on letters?
If they're there twice, yes. So you could have two M's, but you couldn't have two U's.
Okay.
Oh, two. "30 seconds. Now, Flynn, you can't say this task was too hard, mate. You can't go to sleep.
You don't want to watch me, I challenge you, I can sleep.
I challenge you with an N award. You've activated my trap card.
Technically, I come to work, so you fight me.
Illa.
Guys, here's a freebie. Mom.
Yeah,
I just found that one really fun.
Because I was so confident that she's giving people other answers.
I'm stealing that with you.
Alright. Roll it up, count it up.
I've got 10 swears.
That's not how. There's 7.
Yeah, I per, rep, rump, you know what? Rump, rim, and mom.
It needs an apostrophe.
When? Oh, I mean. What's the apostrophe?
Alright. Hands up if you've got more than 3. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay. 6, 9, 12. How many did you get, Vivian? 10? I can count that high as well. Who got more than 10?
I've got 11.
You got a...
Fuck off my phone.
Someone has to be special, don't they?
It counts. You asked, I answered.
Very well done. Do you want a merit? No, fine then. You're not getting one because that's what I normally give my juniors when they do this task. What's a merit?
Yeah, I never
Has it been so far removed since you've had merits in junior years that you've just forgotten the concept of it?
What is the merit? No, I actually don't know. I legitimately don't
Is it
know.
the award thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the awards.
Slips?
No. They're little cardboard awards you used to get.
Oh, so no one's given me that since he's 7.
Ah, it's a hard life. It's a hard life.
So, I think we should do. See what we say Buddha does? Everyone like gets an outstanding or a high, she gives him an award. So do that. That's really good.
So
Just give it up for free. Let me get my.
we have two options. I'm going to very quickly summarise where we've been in the video so far for the people that weren't here last lesson. Would you like a quick recount or would you like an amazing ensemble? An ensemble is an act.
So you have to perform. You're Augustus.
No.
Okay. And then you play all the roles, sir.
That's alright. I got this, okay? Set the scene.
Lights, camera, action. Okay.
Now, what do we have? We have the end of the Republic, okay? Who's here at the end of the Republic? Come on, who's our main characters? No, you fools!
Oh, the other
Caesar!
Oh,
Caesar is at the end of the Republic, okay? And Caesar's often going around. What country is Caesar going off and killing at the moment? Before he comes back to the Republic and kicks its face in. They got frogs in it.
oh, gold.
Goal! Okay, he's off kicking the French. Okay? He's killing the French. Okay? He comes back to the Republic. Okay? What happens when he's at the Republic? No! What happens before? What? He comes back from Gaul dead?
Well, I mean, it makes the story look better.
No! What happened?
Oh, he gets assassinated.
You
No!
just said that, maybe.
Oh, sorry. He adopts Augustus.
Okay, he adopts Augustus. Okay? But when
makes
he...
him the heir.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Think about it. Is there something in between coming back from France and Caesar dying? I would say there's a bit of a difference
travel.
there.
Travel.
I swear you
Caesarean.
No!
that is in the middle.
Civil War people!
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, that's the war, yeah.
He's sitting there and he gets back to Rome and he's like,
So you don't-
Pompey, what's going on? And he takes a chair and he beats Pompey to death with it. Okay? In front of the Senate.
Love that.
All of them. He's laying into it. Okay? Now, he kills Pompey. What does he do after he kills Pompey?
Gets assassinated.
Where does he go?
Greece.
Egypt.
Oh,
Okay?
he's a child.
Yeah. Who does he meet? Who does he meet?
Cleopatra. So please don't.
Hello there. He meets Cleopatra, okay? And they sail up and down the cataracts, okay, of Egypt. And they're, you know.
Okay. I think that's it.
Okay? And who do they have from their little encounter?
Caesarean.
Caesarean, okay? What happens next? Yeah, he goes back to Rome, okay? Now, he isn't immediately killed, okay?
You should be.
This is not what happens, okay? He doesn't get off the boat and someone throws a dagger at his head, okay?
He adopts Augustus.
He's adopted Augustus, that's happened, okay? What has he made?
Dictator.
Dictator. Now, dictator special. Dictator for life, yes. Okay, made dictator for life. Okay? He's sitting going, look at me. I am beautiful, yes. Okay? Then what happens? After he's made dictator for life and he starts changing Rome,
He gets killed.
then he gets killed, okay?
Yeah.
Who kills him?
Brutus.
A bunch of people.
Brutus and
The Senate.
the Senate, and there's another important person.
No, that's the wrong one.
Wait,
Oh,
his
okay.
letter. Give a letter.
C.
Cassidus.
Close enough. Cassius. Okay?
My distant ancestor.
Your distant ancestor. Well done, okay? Now, after he dies, you're interrupting a very important play here.
Sorry, there's like 2 laptops. You might be borrow them.
I don't have them done, so yes. Sorry. Alright, so after he has died, what happens?
There's Mark Antony.
Mark Antony. His throne. He's strong but not smart. Okay? Who is Mark Antony to Caesar?
Right-hand man.
Right-hand man. Okay? Yeah, exactly. Okay? He's the guy that tries to put a crown on his head because he's an idiot. Okay? He becomes the second in charge, therefore first in charge after he does what? Takes over. Starts with an R, guys. Rome. Okay? Takes over Rome. Brutus and Cassius go bugger off. Okay? Then what happens?
Augustus rocks up.
Does he rock up or does he do something first?
He goes to where the
Look on your direction compass, which way is down?
he goes south.
He goes south. South where?
Egypt.
Something
I
like
know.
South Italy. South Italy. What does he do in southern Italy?
He cuts someone's hands off.
that was someone else.
No, that was Antony with Cicero.
Oh, okay.
Does he take go?
He gathers an army,
Oh, sorry.
mainly out of the loyalists of Caesar, people who are still loyal to Caesar. Why would they be loyal to Octavian?
Because
Because
basically
he
Caesar
was
too.
his adopted.
Exactly, his little boy Caesar. Okay, little Caesar. Okay? So they take the army, they go back to Rome. What do they do with the army?
They have another civil war.
Yeah, but with whom?
With Mark.
Mark Antony.
Yeah, okay, so they kick Mark Antony at the Battle of Mutina. Okay? Now, Octavian, is he for or against the Republic at this stage? For. Okay? He's supporting the Republic against
The people that.
Mark Antony. Okay? Did they send someone along with him to make sure that that happened?
Probably.
Oh, two of Caesar's consuls, which I forgot their names, but they.
Two of the consuls of the Republic, Hirtius and Pansa.
Yeah,
Okay? What happened to them?
they died.
Oh, they did.
They're pretty Epstein.
Yeah. They got Epstein in the middle of this whole battle. Okay, nobody knows exactly how they died, but we know that Augustus is the only person that comes out of this battle alive. Okay? What does Augustus then do?
He finds his little booties.
He finds his little booties.
Yeah,
Oh,
from
yeah.
the soldiers.
Ah, yes, the loot of booties. Yes, yes. Ah, and then little booties is in shoes. That's Tiberius, love.
Oh, right.
Okay, that's his adopted son.
Okay.
Okay, little booties. Okay, Tiberius is a childhood name. Okay, he takes that army and he goes back to the Republic and he says basically what?
Basically, it's
I'm
my right
dictator.
to
I am dictator, give me my crap. Okay, doesn't go straight to dictator because he realizes that's what happened to Caesar and Caesar got stabbed.
Eases in.
He eases into it. What does he become first?
Someone.
Consul. Okay, what happens that proves to be the defining point? Because what do Mark Antony and someone else called Milius Lepidus do?
Try to kill it.
No.
Oh,
What happens? What do they do?
alliance.
Yeah, what do we call that alliance?
Oh, the
Oh, the
second
triumvirate.
Yes, okay. My homies.
Yeah.
Okay, the second triumvirate. Mark Antony, Lepidus. Okay? They formed a second triumvirate. Does it last forever?
Not really.
No, they have one really bad Facebook argument, okay? And it ends up. Who gets kicked out first? Lepidus. Yeah, he's the weakest one. He gets control of North Africa, but then Augustus, we think, probably framed him and took control of Africa from him. What happens then?
Then him and Mark Antony get into a bit of a fight.
Mark Antony and Augustus get into a bit of a fight. They win the Battle of Actium, which results in Cleopatra doing what?
Having control of the Mark Antony.
No. Killing herself up and down the wall with the snake. Okay? And what happens to Mark Antony? Basically, she took the snake and died.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then
Because she got bit on the breast by the asp. Okay? What happened to Mark Antony?
He goes down too.
He killed himself by stabbing himself in the guts. Who's left sole control of Rome? Augustus. Wow, I feel like I shouldn't have done a play then. I should have just played the video again. Okay?
Honestly, it
Oh,
was.
so can we get like a summary sheet telling that story?
Can we get a summary
It's
sheet
just
telling that
retries
story?
of what's
Just
said.
watch it again!
used this act to spread propaganda saying how Antony has lost his Roman ways. Octavian's efforts succeeded, and in 32 BC, the Senate declared war on Cleopatra's regime in Egypt, which basically means that they declared war on Mark Antony. After Octavian and his generals won the naval battle of Actium, Cleopatra and Mark Antony committed suicide, leaving Octavian as the most powerful man in the Republic. Octavian did not become dictator immediately. He had to obtain his power piecemeal. After a series of political maneuvers known as the First and Second Settlements, Octavian was able to consolidate power under the so-called Principate, which is basically a dictatorship that preserves some illusions of a republic. To avoid looking like a dictator, Augustus stylized himself as Princeps Civitatis, meaning the first citizen of the state. During this time, Octavian changed his name to Imperator Caesar Divi Filius Augustus. In the year 19 BC, Augustus was officially given Imperium Majus, meaning supreme power. Augustus ushered in a golden age for the Roman civilization. Roman economy, arts, and agriculture flourished. The Roman Empire continued its expansion under Augustus, conquering territories in modern-day Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Slovenia, Albania, Croatia, Hungary, and Serbia. Augustus was able to negotiate a temporary peace with the Parthians, who had been at war with Romans for hundreds of years. Augustus created an institutionalized police and firefighting force and established the Praetorian Guard, which would become an important political faction in the Roman Empire. Augustus made tax reforms which stabilized tax rates and greatly increased Rome's treasury. Augustus passed laws to raise birth rates, which included making adultery illegal, offering tax incentives for families with 3 or more children, and penalties for childless marriages.
Now, Augustus is very interested in the family, okay, and we actually give a couple of reasons later on why he's so interested in the family. Can anyone think of why he outlaws adultery? What do you think, Sunshine? Okay, Kasar, what do you think? Oh, my apologies. Oh man, I'm completely blind and deaf these dumps. Yes.
Something to do with Christianity?
No, Christianity hasn't even begun at this point. I don't think Jesus is historically born at this point.
Stop the Senate looking bad because they had their wives and they also had like a
Yeah, so the Senate was looking very indecent, very much like lecherous old men. Okay? It was also, because if we go back to royalty, what's the danger of adultery?
children.
Your blood wouldn't be as pure.
The blood wouldn't be as pure, especially if the women are doing it, because basically everyone's going to be looking at the woman going, is this actually the heir to the throne, or is this some other guy's child?
Wouldn't it also spread the power?
It would spread the power, okay? And you'd get a lot of what, I can use this term now because it's actually appropriate, you'd have a lot of bastards running around, okay? Which is, it's one of the problems, because that can also cause civil wars and break up families, okay? But Augustus mainly does it because he wants to appear as this pure man, okay? And that he's trying to rebuild the morals of Rome.
Augustus strictly followed his own laws and even exiled his own daughter, Julia the Elder, for adultery. There were many major construction projects during the reign of Augustus, including the Temple of Caesar, the Bath of Agrippa, and the Forum of Augustus. He also supported the...
You want to have a guess why he built it?
To show that he didn't hate Caesar and hence they were friends.
No, everyone knows that he didn't hate Caesar. That wasn't a problem. Think about the benefits that he could get from it. What benefits might he get from it? Who's he the son of?
Caesar. So kind of like he's the adopted son of Caesar.
Uh-huh.
So it kind of reminds them that he's the Augustus.
Yeah.
Oh, so this
Think about it. If Caesar is a god,
Oh, so he's
what is Augustus?
son of God.
He is the son of a god. He is a demigod. To defy Augustus means to defy the gods. Okay? That's why he's so eager to promote Caesar as a god. Because now he's going to be known as the son of a god. Okay?
construction of the famous Pantheon, which still stands today. There were also numerous minor construction projects, and Augustus claimed to have built or restored 82 temples in a single year. One interesting change Augustus made directly impacts our society today. He changed the name of the 8th month of the year to August. In conclusion, in the 40 years Augustus ruled as an emperor, Rome was transformed into a stable, peaceful, and prosperous empire. He set the foundations for a civilization which would be more or less peaceful for more than 200 years. Augustus died in modern-day Nola, Italy, on August 19, 14 AD, at the age of 75. There are a few variations on his death. Some say Augustus died from natural causes of old age, others say that his wife poisoned him, and others say that Augustus committed suicide with the help of his wife so that there would be a smooth transition of power from himself to Tiberius, his adopted son and second Roman emperor. Publicly, his last words were, "I found Rome, a city of bricks, and left it a city of marble."
Oh, yeah,
You're all writing that quote.
You tried to quote that.
Yeah, I did try to quote that and I got it horrifically wrong. Like someone tried to butcher it with a cleaver. Okay, you're all writing that quote. So I put it on the top left here. Because that is such an impressive thing for his power, okay, and his image. It's a cool way to go. Like, I think his last words would have actually been, okay?
His last coherent words.
Yeah, last coherent words probably would have been, "This sucks," to be honest, or some variation of it.
I told you I was sick.
Yeah, I told you I was sick. I'm not faking it, okay? But he's basically able to say that Rome, as it exists, will always be a memory of his power. Okay? Whenever you look at Rome, you must now think of Augustus. Okay?
One possible variation of his real last words were, "Have I played the part well? Then applaud as I exit." From Augustus, we see an ambitious young man who fought his way to become the world's most powerful man through a combination of risk-taking, political and military skill, and of course, luck. From his actions, we see a man who can be brutal and merciless, but not brutal to the point of a psychopath. Augustus never killed for amusement or out of anger or impulse, but killed only for political reasons. He was a leader, raising armies from the age of 19, a capable ruler, proven by his 40 years of stable and prosperous rule. He was extraordinarily wealthy, but cared little for luxuries and did not squander money. In fact, he donated large sums of money to the Roman treasury to finance the construction of public buildings. He kept an open mind to art and philosophy.
Do you think he only donated out of the charity of his heart?
Oh no.
What do you think was on every building that was built?
His name.
His name! Exactly right. You win 100 points. Well done. Okay? His name is on everything. Okay? And that's why he's so famous. Because we can still look at the buildings that he built and see his name on bloody everything. It's like he just went around with a can of spray paint and went, "Augustus is the best." Okay?
And allowed some free speech. There are quite a few things we can learn from the life of Augustus. First,
I don't care. Alright, so raises an army at 19. You guys are 16, 17, yeah? So you got 2 or 3 more years, yeah? Can you hurry up? Yeah? Can we get a republic overthrown here?
I mean,
I'm looking for interest, okay? Yeah.
So, but I'm like,
Let's just
I'm
pull
gonna be.
You're going. That's fine to not know where you're going to be.
Before, how old was he when Caesar adopted him?
When Caesar adopted him, he was 15, I believe he was.
Exactly, sir.
Yeah. So you're just waiting for the adoption of a very powerful figure, are you?
I mean, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting adopted by ScoMo. All
That's
right.
not powerful. That's upsetting.
All right. So.
you know you'd make a better prime minister.
I'm not even going to touch on that one, especially not when I'm recorded. All right, so the question was, why is Augustus important to studying ancient Rome? Who can give me an answer? Yo,
He kind of set the foundation for what the society would look like
that's
after him.
a perfect answer. He set the foundations for what the society would look like after him. In particular, the foundations for what Rome, starting with I. Imperial Rome. Okay? He sets the board for Imperial Rome. And he basically sets it up so that the Principate will continue after him and the Republic won't keep on going into what? Civil war. Okay? Fantastic. Okay? And then you can also talk about, of course, like his building programs and how awesome he is in that regards. Okay? Capital. Alright, so next one. You're going to love it. It's another video.
Divide your page into 2 columns.
Yes, okay. Impact of Augustus is your title. Positive, negative. Okay? Divide it up. My advice, put your book landscape-wise. Makes it easier.
What's this video called, sir?
This video is History versus Augustus, I believe. So when you're looking at the positives, you're basically looking at things that he did to improve Rome. Okay? And when you're looking at the negatives, you're looking at things that he did that were selfish or possibly harmed Rome or its citizens. Okay?
No.
Por favor?
Sí, señor.
Sí.
Very good.
We all got the page divided at least? Yep. Tops. Yay, Chromebook ad. How energetic.
His reign marked the beginning of one of history's greatest empires and the end of one of its first republics. Was Rome's first emperor a visionary leader who guaranteed his civilization's place in history, or a tyrant who destroyed its core values? Find out in History versus Augustus.
Order. The defendant today is Gaius Octavius?
Gaius
Augustus.
Julius Caesar.
Do we have the wrong guy?
No, Your Honor. Gaius Octavius, born in 63 BCE, was the grandnephew of Julius Caesar. He became Gaius Julius Caesar upon being named his great-uncle's adoptive son and heir. And he gained the title Augustus in 27 BCE, when the Senate granted him additional honors. You mean when he established sole authority and became Emperor of Rome?
Is that bad? Didn't every place have some king or emperor back then?
Actually, Your Honor, the Roman people had overthrown their kings centuries before to establish a republic, a government meant to serve the people, not the privilege of a ruling family. And it was Octavius who destroyed this tradition. Octavius was a model public servant. At 16, he was elected to the College of Pontiffs that supervised religious worship. He fought for Rome in Hispania alongside his great-uncle Caesar, and took up the responsibility of avenging Caesar's death when the corrupt oligarchs in the Senate betrayed and murdered him. Caesar had been a power-hungry tyrant who tried to make himself a king while consorting with his Egyptian queen Cleopatra. After his death, Octavius joined his general Mark Antony in starting a civil war that tore Rome apart, then stabbed his ally in the back to increase his own power. Antony was a fool. He waged a disastrous campaign in Parthia and plotted to turn Roman territories into personal kingdoms for himself and Cleopatra.
Isn't that what Caesar had been accused of?
Well,
So Octavius destroyed Antony for trying to become a king and then became one himself?
that's right. You can see the megalomania even in his adopted title, the Illustrious One. That was a religious honorific. And Augustus didn't seek power for his own sake. As winner of the Civil War and commander of the most troops, it was his duty to restore law and order to Rome so that other factions didn't continue fighting. He didn't restore the law, he made it subordinate to him. Not true. Augustus worked to restore the Senate's prestige, improved food security for the lower classes, and relinquished control of the army when he resigned his consul post. Mere optics. He used his military influence and personal wealth to stack the Senate in his favor, while retaining the powers of a tribune and the right to celebrate military triumphs. He kept control of provinces with the most legions, and if that wasn't enough, he assumed the consul position twice more to promote his grandchildren. He was clearly trying to establish a dynasty.
But what did he do with all that power?
Glad you asked, Your Honor. Augustus's accomplishments were almost too many to name. He established consistent taxation for all provinces, ending private exploitation by local tax officials. He personally financed a network of roads and employed couriers so news and troops could travel easily throughout the realm. And it was under Augustus that many of Rome's famous public buildings were constructed. The writers of the time were nearly unanimous in praising his rule. Did the writers have any other choice? Augustus exiled plenty of people on vague charges, including Ovid, one of Rome's greatest poets. And you forgot to mention the intrusive laws regarding citizens' personal lives, punishing adultery, restricting marriage between social classes, even penalties for remaining unmarried. He was trying to improve the citizenry and instill discipline, and he succeeded. His legacy speaks for itself. 40 years of internal stability, a professional army that expanded Rome's frontiers in all directions, and a government still remembered as a model of civic virtue. His legacy was an empire that would go on to wage endless conquest until it collapsed, and a tradition of military autocracy. Anytime a dictator in a general's uniform commits atrocities while claiming to act on behalf of the people, we have Augustus Caesar to thank.
So you're saying Augustus was a good emperor, and you're saying there's no such thing.
We're used to celebrating historical leaders for their achievements and victories. But to ask whether an individual should have such power in the first place is to put history itself on trial. Check out this playlist for more episodes of our...
Cool beans. Alright. So, let's have a look. Can somebody give me a positive that Augustus did? Yo.
Made consistent taxation on provinces.
Consistent taxation. Absolutely. If you don't have it, write it down. Consistent taxation on provinces. Zeta?
Improve food security.
Improve food security. Remember, most of the citizenry of the plebs were starving in some way during that time period before Augustus. Yo.
He restored Senate's prestige.
Restored prestige of Senate. Anything else?
He built roads.
He built roads, absolutely. Yep.
Restored buildings and temples.
Restored buildings and temples. And I think I saw one last one back there.
I forgot. Wait. Oh, discipline the population.
Disciplined population. Alright, so remember, the bads that we're looking for are things that harmed Roman society. So let's try and put it in its proper context, okay? Intruded on personal lives. What particular aspects of personal life did he intrude on? Zeta?
Penalties for being unmarried.
So marriage,
Not being married.
and?
Not being adultery.
Yeah, so marriage, so put it for married and not being married.
Adultery.
And adultery. Basically, sex lives, okay? He was very interested in what everyone's sex lives were. Okay?
What's a fetish?
What else?
He was a military autocrat.
Military autocrat. Literal meaning of autocrat is hands up. Power of one, hands up. Yeah, you can't say it with your hand up. You got to wait to be
Well,
picked.
too bad. I already said it.
Yeah. What else have we got for negatives? Vivian.
Destroyed Caesar for being a ruler, then became one himself. Or no?
It's like a Star Wars thing here. Became what?
Isn't Star Wars based on like ancient history?
Yeah, they're all the same. I think Star Wars is based off one of the Shakespearean plays.
Yeah.
Most things tend to be.
What's his name? Oh, Shakespeare had a play called Caesar and Cleopatra.
Yes,
Not
yes,
that
he
I
did.
read that far.
Yeah, where we get a lot of our perceptions from.
He started a civil war.
Civil War. What else? So, come on, guys. Someone besides Vivian or Flynn. Reem, what do you got?
Put a lot of people in exile.
Exiled people. Absolutely. Who else we got? Maeve, what do you got?
I think this is about Rome, but he used his own money to steer the Senate to support him.
What about corruption of Senate? Flynn?
Use militarism to boost his own power. Utilize militarism.
How about made military key to Roman politics? Because back then, was it a bad thing to be a conqueror? Not really. People didn't particularly care about militarism, but what they did care in Rome was about involving the military too much into politics, because who should be in charge in Rome?
The people.
Senate, yeah. So what Octavian did and other people before him was they involved the military too much, and that's definitely something we could say was bad. What else could we say?
I think it's already up there, but he disrupted. He turned the Senate back into like a ruling. He made the Republic into the thing. I can't.
Let's just say destroyed Republic.
Yeah.
And the words that you're looking for, Vivian,
Yeah.
was he turned the Senate back into an advisory body, not the actually ruling body.
No.
Okay, so it's pretty much like it was under the Etruscan kings. Okay, can anybody remember the name of the Etruscan kings? What was their family name? Tarquin. And the last one? Tarquin the Proud. Okay, also known as Tarquin Superbus. Okay, very good. All right, so we can see, lovelies, there are a lot of positives and a lot of negatives towards Augustus. Okay, but one of the things that you definitely can say about Augustus is internal stability. Once Augustus takes control, internal wars pretty much stop.
So that's one he started.
But even then, he doesn't start them. Civil war basically stops once Augustus comes in power. Now, you could say that he does that by being very cruel at times, by invading everyone's personal life, but you do have 40 years of peace when Augustus is in charge. And compared to the last 60 years of the Roman Republic, where it's a constant civil war, that's quite impressive. Now, internal, however, does not mean external. Okay? You do still have foreign wars of aggression. Rome tries to expand into what is modern-day Germany, and it does not go well. They get trapped in a place called Teutoburg, and they end up losing 3 whole legions.
No, they did take most of Scandinavia, so that's kind of cool.
Yes. Okay? And 3 whole legions was a big thing. When they lost 3 whole legions, basically the story is that Augustus broke down when he heard that the 3 legions were gone and started smashing his head against the wall every once in a while, yelling out Quintus Varus, who was the commander of the 3 legions, "Where are my legions? Where are my legions?" Because they didn't die in just one battle, they sort of just disappeared. They got ambushed in Teutoburg Forest, and then it's a very dark forest, Teutoburg Forest. Nothing really gets out, and they proved it with that legion.
So it's kind of like Bermuda.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle of Germany, except it's the Bermuda Triangle where Roman soldiers just go missing. Okay? We ended up finding all their bodies a couple of years ago, and it was just mass graveyards of Roman soldiers that had been human sacrificed.
Ooh, love that.
So who's we?
German archaeologists. Yeah. Okay? So, serious stuff what happened in Teutoburg Forest. Alright, so, here's what I want you to do for homework, lovelies.
Yeah.
Yeah!
I'm so keen. Is it readings?
Yeah, man, of course.
Oh, so why are you making class?
All the readings.
So, oh, did you get the Livius?
Sorry?
Is this the Livius reading?
No.
Are you getting it?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to print it off for you. I'll do that next lesson, okay? Alright, so girls, here's what I would like you to do with this reading.
Summaries?
So,
Or a whole peel?
No.
So this summarizes your play, right?
It summarizes my play. Yeah, now you're getting
So
it.
you did make a summary sheet.
No, I didn't make this. I stole it of someone else.
Oh, of course you did.
Okay? Alright, so here's what I want you to do with this readings, girls. Okay? It's a timeline of his life. I want you to highlight what you believe are the 7 most important events in his life. Okay, what those 7 are up to you. Okay, we're all probably going to have different ones. Then, next to 1 or 2 of them, next to each one of those 7, I want you to put 1 or 2 letters of perms to what those events relate to. Are they political? Are they economic, religious, military, social? Okay? Then pick 2. Actually, you know what? Just do the perms part. We'll do the other section in class.
Okay.
Okay?
For homework?
For homework. Yes.
Excellent.
Does everybody understand what they're doing?
Yes.
So is this in Google Classroom?
I believe it is, but if it's not, I'll put it up. If not, it will be on the website. Okay?
So can you put the link?
Sorry? Yeah, of course you can. You might as well take your bag, darling. I think we've only got 5 minutes. Anyway, is this the day it ends at 2:15? Yeah, you've only got 5 minutes, yeah.
So can you link, put the link back up on Classroom?
Oh, for the website? Yeah, I can do that.
It's too far down for me to
Yeah. First world problems. Okay, I'll actually update it before I leave for home today. So yeah, we'll do that. Alright. Any questions, loves? Start the readings now. Just start reading, highlighting, and then you can go as soon as that bell hits. Okay?
Oh, don't do your whole credits roll, I swear.
No, I'm just gonna be like Casa Productions. Casa Productions! Not that I did anything this time, but okay, bye.